The following is brought to you by 810 Studios.
Hi, guys, and welcome back to Cutting Through the Red Tape. This is your girl, LaShanta. And of course, you guys know that I am super excited because look who I have on my show today. Y'all, I am so excited. I have Mrs. Iris Bryant. I want to call her Peterson so bad because you know what? She had to handle us like her babies for a while. And so I know her based on being Miss Peterson, one of our favorite teachers, educators. I'm going to say educator, not just a teacher. She was indeed an educator. She was a mama to us. She kept us straight. She kept us, tried to keep us in line and everything. But baby, that class of 2004, woo! We still together, y'all.
Indeed.
We were the baby class. I tell everybody all the time, like, class of 2004, we were babied. Like, our parents really babied us.
Wow.
Yeah, so, but I think we turned out okay. There are a lot of us out there that are doing big things. So, shout out to class of 2004. But we have Miss Bryant here with us today. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, and I thank you for the introduction, and also shout out to class of 2004. You all were amazing. A wonderful class.
Yes, we were. Shout out to Mr. G. If anybody can find Mr. Gutierrez, he quit on us almost every single day. Mr. G be like, I quit. We be like, we see you tomorrow, Mr. G. So if you can find Mr. G out there in the world, please send him this video and tell him that we appreciate him. Although we got on his nerves very bad every single day. He still came back to teach us every single day until the year ended. So shout out to all of the great educators out there. I'm just gonna name one other person, Mr. Larry Sutton.
He's America's history teacher.
Yes, he is. He used to tell me, not today, LaShanta. Not today. So shout out to Mr. Larry Sutton. We appreciate you as well for keeping us together and not just as a class, but as an individual. You guys definitely made y'all mark on our lives. And, you know, most of the time people, they don't remember who their educators were and who had the impact on their life. But I do. I remember the ones that really, you know, did it for me. So I appreciate you.
Thank you, Shanta. And that means a lot. That means a lot. I can't even put into words how much that means. So
Absolutely.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Well, I am so glad that you said yes to coming to Cutting Through the Red Tape and sharing with us today. So today we are discussing actually your support group called Grieving Well. And I have been a part of that support group for a little while now, and I can definitely tell you if you need support, I mean, it's right here in Clinton. Like, it's time out for us saying that we can't find help or we don't have help when help is literally right here. And sometimes you have to make the sacrifices. You have to make up in your mind that you want the help and that you go and get it. It was plenty of times on a Saturday where I wanted to be doing something else, but I knew for a fact that I needed to be there for the support.
I appreciate that. The support group started because it was a need for me. I remember the first meeting that we had was August 31st, 2024. And my son asked me, why was I going to be having a support group? And his words were, when you need help. And I said, that's why. Because it was important for me to heal and to grieve well. And the support group started, the planning started after the loss of my husband. And we had our first meeting a month after the loss of my dad. So there was a lot happening, but in order for me to heal, I had to grieve well, and that's the name of the support group, Grieving Well. So it wasn't started, and we don't walk through the journey because we have it all together.
Mm-hmm.
We're not meeting because we have all the answers or we're healed.
Mm-hmm.
We are walking through this journey. And for me, it was important to be surrounded by other people on different parts of the journey. Some
Mm-hmm.
who were further along who could say to me, yeah, I know what you're walking through. I
Mm-hmm.
can imagine what you're feeling now,
Mm-hmm.
but there's hope on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And then there were people, like I was fresh. I was, dealing with a year after my dad passed, 14 months after my husband passed. So it's just like these double whammies.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't standing up to say, look, I got it all together. The first ones, and there may be one or two where I haven't shed tears,
Mm-hmm.
but it's part of the journey, and I need it, and I believe that those who um, choose to come and participate, it's a blessing to them as well. So
Absolutely. Now, I want to keep point something that you said when you said that it was important to be with people who were on the same journey as you, and some were a lot further, and some were, what I'm saying, maybe behind you. But when people need to understand when you are going through something, you can't accept you can't accept what you want to call it, you can't accept examples, or you can't a person can't imagine what you're going through if they've never been through that. So I think it's very important for you to go to those support groups where people are dealing with the same exact thing. And that's something that people don't really understand is you can't offer support where you've never been.
absolutely. I'm very close to my brother and sister, and we spend a lot of time together. And after my dad passed, we all had these moments where we thought about our friends who had lost a parent.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know my sister had done this. I did it. Like I reached out to my best friend who had walked with me through the loss of my husband and with the loss of my dad, and I apologized
Mm-hmm.
because I said to her when she lost her father, if there's anything I can do, let me know.
Mm-hmm.
If you need me, I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
But I had never lost a parent.
Mm-hmm.
After I lost my parent, I felt like, did I really show up for her?
Mm-hmm.
Because going through it,
Mm-hmm.
you become empathetic to someone who has gone through it.
Mm-hmm.
And the people who have showed up for us, my brother, my sister, and I, in the realest ways, are people who have experienced that,
Mm-hmm.
and they give us hope. Like
Mm-hmm.
they say, I know this is gonna be your first Father's Day without your dad. This is what we did on our first Father's Day to kind of prep you for you. You're never prepared,
Right.
but
Right.
because they walked that journey, they're empathetic
Mm-hmm.
and very sensitive
Mm-hmm.
to where you're walking. And I think that is the grace that when we're going through it, I think there's a grace that God puts on our lives that we can reach out and touch someone else
Mm-hmm.
because we have lived that.
Mm-hmm. We have experienced it, because grief. I've suffered all kinds of grief too, but grieving a child, losing a baby, and then not only losing a baby, but losing my 4-year-old godson. So a lot of people they 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 say things that, yeah, it makes sense, but at the same time you can't offer that type of support to me because you get a chance to raise your child, or you get a chance to see your godchild, or be around a baby or something of that nature, and you say things that you want to offer the support and offer the help, but it doesn't add up because you won't ever get a chance to experience the pain that I feel, just a day before having to feel my son kick, and then the next day being told that he was gone. You know what I'm saying? So I haven't been in a support group where we have lost, where, other mothers have lost babies, but I have been there for somebody else
Mm-hmm.
who have lost their baby,
Mm-hmm.
because I know
Mm-hmm.
what it feels like, and I know what to say to her in that situation because I've already been there and I've already lived through it. So that is important to connect with your village, so that you guys can pull on each other's strength.
Mm-hmm. We talk about this, and I know you were in the meeting that we shared, and I also want to share that my cousin, which my cousin is the co-facilitator,
Mhm.
Eddie Parker.
Yes, yes.
And
Shout out
when
to
shout out to
Bishop.
Bishop Parker, and to his ministry, his church, because they've opened the doors and
Yes,
allowed us to come in.
yes.
But we were talking one day, and in the support group
Mm.
about sometimes people don't really think about
Mm-hmm.
what they're saying
Mm-hmm.
when you are at your lowest.
Right, right.
And he used an example that sometimes you don't have to say anything. Like
Mm-hmm.
just show up for
Mm-hmm.
the person that you're there to support.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to give a dissertation. You don't
Mm-hmm.
have to lay out all the scriptures that you studied. You don't have to come in and try to sound deep.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to tell them how they feel,
Mm-hmm.
because everybody's grief is different. And
That's right.
even if someone, when I talk to women who've lost a husband or people who've lost a spouse in general, I don't say, I know how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
I say, I know how I felt when this happened to me.
That's good.
And
That's
if you
good.
need, I'm not going to say, I know how you feel,
Mm-hmm.
because that's your husband.
Uh-huh.
That was my husband. I know
Right.
how I
I felt.
felt.
Right.
But it's, you have to be so sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
And what I would love people to do, and I mean, it sounds so simple,
Mm-hmm.
but when you are experiencing or being around somebody, if you're led to go to the house, or if you're
Mm-hmm.
led to, show up for them, pray before you go
Whew.
and say, Lord, I'm getting ready to go, and
Mm-hmm.
as an act of service to this family,
Mm-hmm.
what would you have me to do? What would you have me to say?
Mm-hmm.
Bridle my tongue,
Mm-hmm.
because I might need to just listen.
Mm-hmm.
I might need to go in and see what the need is, and there may
Mm-hmm.
be something that I'm able to do.
Mm-hmm.
I lost one of my classmates very recently, and I went over to their house. She had some daughters, and the daughter said, I said, well, I'm going to come back tomorrow and bring food. Is there anything you would like? And she said, Miss Iris, please don't bring chicken. And I started laughing because my children were the same. We're like, bring some pizza, or
Mm-hmm.
so, and be sensitive, and don't leave saying, well, what was wrong with them? Like, I just came to bring
Right.
something. They're going to tell me they want pizza. Well, you
Correct.
ask them,
Specifically.
what did you need?
Uh-huh.
So be open
Yes.
to what are the needs,
The needs.
of this family.
The needs.
And don't go in being overbearing, or
Mm-hmm.
to it's just important to sit with people. And
Mm-hmm.
and one of the resources that I talk about is a book by a dear friend of mine, Natasha Smith.
Mm-hmm.
She's written two books, but the one I reference a lot is called Can You Just Sit With Me? And it's about grief. She lost several sisters and her father, and just a nephew, lots of losses. And she put that book together. I think the book released in 2023. Can You Just Sit With Me?
Can you just sit
And
with me?
it's just about showing up for
Showing
that
up.
person
Mhm.
who's grieving. You don't have to come in with the answers or try to
Mhm.
fix it.
That's right.
Just be present.
Just be
It's
present.
so important. I have a friend. It's actually David's best friend's wife.
Mm-hmm.
Text me just about every day,
Mm-hmm.
a scripture, a message, and this has been since 2023.
Wow.
And it's whatever the Lord drops in her spirit to say to me. Is showing up consistent.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a friend who has just said, if you need to scream,
Mm-hmm.
you got that. And she would hold the phone and allow me to scream, because that's what I needed in that space.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that person
Mm-hmm.
need? And you don't need to go in and say it's gonna get better, it's gonna be all right, or
Mm-hmm.
and maybe that is what he gives you to say, but what do they need?
What do
and
they
are you
need?
sensitive enough to hear it
To hear it.
and respond to that?
Right.
That's important.
That is so important. When I'm reaching out to somebody and I know that they are going through a situation, I always ask them, what do you need or desire
Mhm.
or want? You know what I'm saying? Because it has to be specific. Maybe the family doesn't need you to bring food. Maybe they need you to read the scripture. at the funeral or say the prayer, and it's I had a friend who lost her mom, and I have my mom. I cherish my mom. I love my mom, and my mom is here with me. So I never went into her space and said,
Mm-hmm.
I feel
Mm-hmm.
you, because I don't.
Mm-hmm.
But I went into her space. I cleaned up. I made sure her children were okay. I made sure when the company and stuff left, she didn't have to wake up to chaos.
Mm-hmm.
That was what I could offer her, because that was what I had. That was what the Lord asked me to do for her, because there was nothing else that I could offer her. Sometimes people don't need a paragraph, or, they don't need you to say this long comfort prayer. They just need you to just be there.
To be there.
And just listen.
Another thing is, if you need anything, let me know. In the thick of it,
they don't know
what you need.
They don't know. They don't know.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know.
So it's important to be sensitive and to
Mm-hmm.
pray.
Mm-hmm.
And the owner of 810 Studios,
Mm-hmm.
I remember my husband and I used to go out to eat quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I could cook,
Right,
but we went out to eat quite a bit. And I remember one day I went to this restaurant
mm-hmm.
that we would go to often. And as I got there, I thought, oh, this is my first time coming here, and he's not with me.
Mm.
And I walked in the restaurant and I saw the lady who owns 810 Studios and her mom, and they said, "Are you eating by yourself?" And I was fighting back tears. I said, "Yes, I am." And they said, "Come over and join us." And they didn't know,
Mm-hmm.
but God knew.
Mm-hmm.
And so I sat with them, and it wasn't a hard meal.
Mm.
It was a good meal. We laughed,
Mm-hmm.
and they had no clue what I was saying as I walked in the door, because I didn't think about it until I got there, and I knew I would have been emotional, but I was hungry.
Mm-hmm.
I was hungry,
Right.
so I was going to eat, but
Mm-hmm.
I knew there would be some emotions with it.
Right.
And just to say, would you like to join us? Like,
Mm-hmm.
they had no clue what
Mm-hmm.
they were doing. So shout out to Miss Tamika
Yes.
and her mother, Miss Marion Pope. That meant a lot.
Yeah.
That meant a lot.
Yeah. And look how God brought it full circle.
Mm.
You did the exact same thing for me when I met you at the restaurant. I was leaving church, having a hard day, having a hard time. My kids were with their dad. And I sat in the parking lot for a while at the restaurant. And then when I finally got the courage to come out, I ran right into you. And we sat there and we ate. And it was a joyous.
And you know what is so amazing? It was the same restaurant.
That
was the same restaurant that I met them at. Wow. That's beautiful.
And when you're obedient. When you're obedient, God will bring it around full circle.
Mm-hmm.
How they were there for you,
mm-hmm.
and how you were able to get through that meal to do the same for me. So.
Well, and I want to say, as you're talking about that, we do a lot of saying to God, "I want you to use me." And when we say it, a lot of times we're thinking about behind the podium,
Mm-hmm.
In a place where somebody's going to see you,
Mm-hmm.
in a crowd,
Mm-hmm.
on the highways and hedges,
Mm-hmm.
or in a way that people will see.
Yeah.
But if you really say in your heart, Lord, if you can, like, just use me however you see fit.
Mm-hmm.
My brother's group, the Brothers for Christ, they sing a song, "Use me, Lord, for your service."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Here am I, Lord. You use me however you want to.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not thinking about how he's using you to bring peace to somebody else, or how he's using you to break a spirit of loneliness by just being present with somebody, just breaking bread, having a meal, spending time where you're not, and you don't even have to talk about, like, the thing that may have weighed you down before you walked in,
right.
But it allows you to see, God sees me. He knows what I'm going through. As if you're the person who is the recipient, because I don't have to know how he's using me.
Yes,
I don't have to know. I just need to be obedient. Like if he said, and have lunch with her.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to know the behind the
Right.
scenes of what he's doing, because that's
Mm-hmm.
on him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just beautiful.
It's just beautiful. It's amazing how it's amazing. I mean, God is just amazing. Like, it's something that you can't necessarily explain, because it seems like everything comes full circle, but you have to be in position for him to use you that way.
Absolutely.
And I'm not one of those, like, everybody knows, I'm a woman of God, I preach, or I speak or whatever, but nobody knows what I go through physically and mentally when my pastor look at me and be like, you up next, you know what I'm saying? And that's because I don't know, it's such to be used by God is such a special gift.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And it's something that we should all take very serious. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm not one of the ones that's out here looking for fame or glory. You know what I'm saying? So when you say use me, Lord, like, I'd rather for you to use me over here behind the curtain. Like, use me around the corner somewhere, because that's just the type of person that I am. But I do know, that the first shall be last and the last shall be first. You know what I'm saying? Everything is gonna have to come, to the front to be used.
To be used. And you want to be used by him. That's what's beautiful.
Yes.
That is what.
That is that
Yes,
we want to be
absolutely.
used by him, and we want to be obedient, and we want to be sensitive to the spirit.
Absolutely.
And we want to help extend a lending hand for our brothers and sisters. So I really feel like, you know what I'm saying, God, we doing it.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
We doing it. Well, Lord, I'm doing the best that I know how, Lord. You created me, you know all about me, you know what I'm gonna do before I even do it. So I'm your child, Lord.
Use us. Use us. Use us.
Absolutely. So your support group is still going. You guys are still and you said it's only been a year?
Yeah. Well, next month will be a year.
Next month will be a year.
Isn't that amazing?
It is amazing. That is amazing. That it's almost about to be a 1-year anniversary. Now, I noticed you said that the show, not a show, but your support group started like 14 months after your dad passed.
No. My dad passed 14 months after my husband passed.
Okay, after your husband passed. Okay.
Yes.
And then you started the support group.
Right.
Okay.
We were I talked to, and I say Eddie because he's my cousin. Bishop Parker is my cousin. I called him in the late part of 23, I think 2023, and it may have been early 24. And I told him what I wanted to do, and I said I want to know if you would pray. Well, I started with that. I wanted to talk to you about something. I want you to pray and see what what the Lord is saying about it. And I explained what was on my heart as far as the support group. And he said, I don't have to pray about it. He said, this is something that I was already, had already asked God about. So we talked, we met, we planned when we were going to launch. And then my dad got sick and he was under hospice care, and he died quickly. And I didn't want to do it. Like, I was like, well, we can push the support group back. And he said, no, we need to still have it. And he gave me a couple of dates. He said, like, the last Saturday in August, maybe the last Saturday. He said, yeah, maybe the last Saturday in August. And I said, not the last Saturday in August. And he said, yeah, I think that'd be a good day. And I knew what the last Saturday in August was. And I said, that's my daddy's birthday. And he said, I couldn't think of a better day to do it. And tears are rolling. But I knew that we had to do it. And we launched with a panel. We had a panel discussion of 3 people who had, it happened so that everybody on the panel, they had experienced various losses, but the one they talked about most was the loss of parents. And they were at different stages of it. And there were people there. We had some questions. It was a very powerful event,
Mhm.
and we've met, and nothing, no one meeting or no two meetings have been the same.
Mhm.
We may not have the same people every time, but I believe that when the meetings end, that we have encountered
Mhm.
God and His
Mhm.
healing. Like, whether, sometimes we get the healing through laughter,
Mhm.
sometimes we cried out,
Mhm.
but it is a safe place, and I'm so appreciative of that. It's a
Mhm.
safe space. We are encouragers of one another, and we come alongside each other and walk through this journey.
That is so beautiful. And so how did you feel like what's your personal takeaway from that very first session?
I want to rewind a little bit because
Mm.
I was attending a grief support group in Greensboro,
Okay.
and I went to a couple face to face, and then I went to some virtual ones, and that
Mhm.
was like my husband passed in April of 23, and I was in those support groups in June. By June,
Mm.
I was there because I needed it,
Mhm.
and I wanted to do something here. There were some churches that had, because I went to Grief Share,
Mm.
and there were some churches here that had Grief Share, and that's what I wanted to do, like to bring Grief Share to his church.
Mm.
And it just didn't happen that way. He said, I believe
Mhm.
that you are supposed to create a group and
Mhm.
maybe write a curriculum, but this isn't something that someone else has put together.
Right.
And I I didn't I wasn't like rejoicing when he said that,
Mhm.
because we had the curriculum. I was going to lean into that,
Mhm.
and I do support that. I believe, and there are people who attend Grieving Well who attend Grief Shared at another church.
Mhm.
Um, but when he said it, it was like the Lord just started downloading what this topic can be, and this week's topic can be, and next
Mhm.
month you can talk about this.
Mhm.
So I knew that he heard the Lord,
Mhm. Mhm.
and I'm thankful that I obeyed.
Mhm.
How I feel is that even in the midst of the hardest season of your life, God can still show up.
Mhm.
He can bring peace. He can
Mhm.
bring healing. And when you think you have nothing to give because I felt when my husband passed away, I felt gutted,
Mm.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
gutted.
Mhm.
And then to lose my dad, it's
Mhm.
like I had just started to get my footing,
Mhm.
and then it was like my whole foundation shifted.
Mhm.
And then to go in those rooms and to hear other people talk about the loss of um, a parent or a spouse, and you've been in some of the ones where people have come in like 2 or 3 weeks after a
Mhm.
tragic loss, and
Mhm.
can't even talk because of the
Yeah.
weight of it.
Yeah.
And we rally around that person, we lift
Mhm.
them up. Um, so I I know that God is glorified in that. And
Absolutely.
that's how I feel. That
Absolutely.
that in the midst of the hardest season of my life, God,
Mhm.
you chose to birth something. If anybody had told me that is what was going to happen, wouldn't have believed it, because after that, or alongside that, I don't know, the what came first was the podcast,
Mhm.
Grieving Well, and then the support group. But it's me talking through my
Mhm.
journey, because what I've always done is tell you about it after I get the victory. So I have
Mm.
experienced a lot of things in life, and you won't see my testimony right now. It's
Mhm.
like testimony loaded. I'll talk to you about it after
After.
I get through, after he heals me,
Uh-huh.
after I get over this. I'm not going to talk about it right now.
Right
Let me
now.
let the Lord do his work.
Okay.
But this,
Mhm.
he has allowed me to speak about it through the pain,
Mm.
um, speak about it through the hard places, the
Mhm.
heart aches.
Mhm.
And I had a tagline for my website, or like, it was for many years it was finding purpose on the other side of pain. And in
Mm.
2023 I put a parenthesis in there, finding purpose smack dab in the middle
My
of
God.
pain, because in the middle of it, I
Mhm.
I wouldn't let people see me.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
wouldn't talk about in the middle, because
Mhm.
I wanted him to polish it up and be able to present it. You look what God has done.
Oh,
But
so I
this
get what you're saying.
was
Yeah,
you
you had it
saw
was raw and
it was
uncut,
raw.
raw and uncut. Yeah,
Yes, absolutely
see,
vulnerable.
I'm raw and uncut. Yeah, so we gonna journey through this together.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
And maybe you know what I'm saying. You should. I like testimony loading. Give me a minute. I do like that. But for somebody like me, I guess I guess I need to, you know what I'm saying, journey through it, because I feel like if it's piled up on me, it's too much. You know, and I don't know how to unpile it. You know,
I hear you.
I've been in the support group and y'all have had to talk me down a few flights of stairs. So when I tell you that it helps, it helps. And you know, and that's real. That's raw. You know what I'm saying? Because I am a woman of God. You know what I'm saying? I do preach the word. I do know the word. I do know that who Christ is and who Christ is in my life. But I'm also not Jesus. And that's why I have to tell people I'm like him. It's a striving thing. I'm not there yet, baby. So tread light.
Yeah, we have had some interesting conversations.
Yeah, Patricia.
Okay.
Yeah, Peter's sister.
Okay, but in that, he's glorified in that.
Yeah, he is.
It's us coming to him, being honest. Like, Lord, you see me. Lord, you see what I have going on. And the beautiful thing is he sees it, he knows it, he understands it, and he chooses to use it.
He still chooses to use me. Yeah, you heard what Miss Bryant say. The Lord is still using me. Okay. He's using me. Okay. And he loves me and I love him. And he created me. He foreknew me.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
But I'm 1 year hands-free. And that's a testimony. I'm 1 year hands-free. And for that, we have to give God the glory. And
I'm laughing because I always say to people, I'm late to the party. And you said it twice, and I was like, okay. Ding dong. Okay, he blessed the Lord.
He blessed us. Yes, he did. And kept us from the shackles that could have been placed on us.
Well, I praise God that he did.
Yes, yeah. No bill was paid. No, none of that.
Okay, let me say that grief, and I don't mean to say out of character, but grief exposes. It exposes us. And a lot of times we may face something and deal with something healed in a way, or grieving, that we wouldn't deal with it that same way.
Right.
If we weren't going through that. Because
correct.
It's like a cord that's been exposed and all the little wires are there. You don't want to touch it because anything could happen. And that's like, we have to be handled with care when we're walking through that season, because we experience things, we feel things that we're more sensitive. Things hit us differently.
That's
we
right.
respond differently. When you lose certain people in your lives, you feel exposed.
You do.
You feel exposed.
You do.
And you have to be so careful. And it's not that you do have to handle people with care, regardless of what they're facing in life. But when someone is grieving, you need to be very sensitive. How you handle them, how you approach them, because there's so much that's happening in their lives and in their physical bodies as well. Like your body takes that hit.
It does.
You feel, that's why it's important to rest. It's important to hydrate with water, like drink plenty of water. Remind yourself. I would set a timer on my phone to do certain things, because you forget. You
literally forget.
You do.
You literally forget to eat, like basic things. I remember one time I was, like you said, I wasn't hit, but my body reacted to the emotional trauma that I went through. So one day I remember, like, oh my God, did I even like pee? You know what I'm saying? You think about your organs, like, are my kidneys functioning? But then I remembered there's nothing there because I didn't drink anything. I didn't eat anything. You know what I'm saying? And then there was a point where I couldn't even feel my legs.
Wow.
Like, I knew that I was walking and I knew that they were operating, but I couldn't even feel them. That's trauma. That's
trauma.
grief.
Absolutely.
You know, going back and forth to the doctor, you know, and they were saying, well, what's wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, well, that's why I'm here, for you to tell me what's wrong with me. And then having to go through test after test, like scan after scan. And for these people to literally look at you and say, there's nothing wrong. You know what I'm saying? And I tell people all the time, I thank God that I still have my right mind.
Absolutely.
Because if my body was going through that, just imagine what my mind was going through. But if you serve a God like we do, he's a keeper of all things. You know what I'm saying? Including your mind, including my body. And it was just like one day, I believe I was on live or something. I was, you know, sharing a little bit of my testimony on live. And I told him, like, I can feel my legs. Oh, wow. You know what I'm saying? Like I was coming out of it. You know, I was coming out of whatever state that I was in, and I was actually able to feel my legs. And do you know, I had to just praise God, because we forget about the little things. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't give God praise for like the little things. Like, we want to bless God for the money. We want to bless God for the house, for the cars, for the this and for the that. But you need to bless God for being able to you know what I'm saying, your activity of your limbs and your mind and your heart and your spirit. You know what I'm saying? Those are the things that we need to bless God for, because I couldn't even feel my legs. And the doctors kept telling me, you know, like, be careful, like, don't run into stuff. You know, there was bruises all over my, you know, my legs, my arms and stuff, where I was running into stuff, you know what I'm saying? But I couldn't feel it. You know, and so when I came out of that state, you know, my praises got higher, because just last month I was getting poked, primed, you know what I'm saying, scan after scan, but now I'm walking in the freedom. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't go to therapy, because let me tell you why. Every time I attempted to contact a therapist or go to therapy, I could never get in. So I decided that I should do this podcast. And I believe that God is doing what he needs to do through the podcast. And I'm going to back that up, because just about 2 weeks ago, I was with the owner of, well, Charles, everybody know, Tamika. We're going to say her name today. Shout out to Tamika, 810 Studios. I went with her to the Boots on the Ground celebration in Kenansville. And I interviewed a lot of people, but 2 people stood out to me. And the first lady that I interviewed, she had started a soap company. And I said, you know, what made you do this? She said, grief, the loss of her son.
Wow.
She said she tried the support group, she tried this and she tried that, and nothing worked for her. So this was her healing. Her soap company in honor of her son.
That's beautiful.
The next person that I interviewed was Charlene, the comedian. And I said, what made you do this? She said, grief. She had lost her grandmothers back to back, and her family was in mourning. And she said she just started mimicking her grandmothers.
Wow.
And this was how she was able to not only get herself where she needed to be, but her family. And I thought about that thing. I'm like, Lord, I need to be on somebody's couch, you know? But I feel like he's doing this for me and through me to help somebody else. And he also allows me to laugh. a lot and bring a lot of laughter to other people. And I believe that I'm okay.
And that's beautiful. I didn't know if you could say something. That's beautiful. When I was walking through, um, the loss of David that was really really fresh,
Mm-hmm.
an older lady said to me, "Find something," because I wasn't sleeping at night, and
Mm.
she said to me, "Find something silly to
Mm-hmm.
watch on TV, or
Mm-hmm.
find something funny to watch on YouTube. Like find something that is going to make you laugh."
Mm-hmm.
And so that I can understand that. Also, I started a podcast as well
Mm-hmm.
to talk through
Mm-hmm.
what I was experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
And my writing changed. I haven't shared everything that I've written in that space of time, but I was able to get it out.
Mm-hmm.
I spent a lot of time on the traveling, a lot of time on the road, commuting to work, and I would do audio journals. So there
Hmm.
were days that I would just open up the voice memo app on my phone through tears
Mm-hmm.
and just cry. And there are plenty of them that I've never listened to, but I had to
Get it out.
get it out.
Mm-hmm.
So I do understand that. I think it's beautiful that God takes those things that are painful and finds a way for us to express it in
Mm-hmm.
a way that brings hope and healing
Mm-hmm.
to someone else. I mean, nobody can do that but
Right.
Him.
Yeah.
I think that's beautiful.
Yeah. I'm trying. Y'all know how I do. But anyway, we want the main reason for this show is we want you to find what works for you.
Absolutely.
Therapy is great, and I want therapy for all of us. I believe I still may need therapy. But I got one of my homegirls, she listens to everything I say. Bless her heart. Lord bless her right now. Um but I do believe that therapy and Jesus is a good combination. We do know that we can't pray everything away. We do know that prayer does work. The Holy Spirit is a comforter, but we also want you to find whatever works for you on your journey, in your process. The only thing that's wrong with healing is if you do it in a way that's gonna hurt you. So we don't condone anything like outside of, not taking care of yourself or someone else. But we do want you to not be ashamed of the way that you heal, because everybody doesn't understand what you're going through, what you're faced with, and how you're able to handle or cope with your journey. Some people like to travel. Some people traveling wasn't my thing because I was afraid
Okay.
to travel. I was afraid to venture out. You know what I'm saying? Because that was just not the norm for me. Um, Being in the public eye wasn't the norm for me. So I knew right away that going through my situation, that I needed to find a job that was in the public eye. Because if I was to find a work from home job, then I knew depression was going to set in,
Mm-hmm.
and along with depression, a lot of the other things. So I needed to be out in the public so that I can make sure my appearance was good. So that I make sure that I could see people and people could see me. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know who you may run into that can offer you that encouraging
Mm-hmm.
word or give you a hug, or what I'm saying, love on you or show
Mm-hmm.
up for you in certain ways. So I had to make a decision to, get out the house
Absolutely.
and, see people.
Mm-hmm. See people, see the beautiful things God has created.
Hmm.
Um, I would I would get up in the morning and ride to the beach to see the sunrise. And I know, and it was funny because even before my husband died, I would do that. And he said, the sunrise is on everything. Like, you don't have to drive all the way to Riceville Beach to see the sunrise.
Hmm.
But it was just beautiful
Hmm.
to see that. And there were days I would go down to the beach, watch the sunrise, sit on the beach by myself and just cry and be back home by 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. because
Mm.
I needed that outlet.
Mhm.
I needed to be able to get it all out so I could come back and do whatever it was that God had called me to do in this area. So you need to know what, have an outlet.
Mhm.
It may be that trusted friend that's there for you. It may be taking a quick drive, having like this vulnerable prayer where you just lay it all out there, say
Mhm.
what you need to say, talk to him like you're talking to a friend.
Mhm.
Just get it all out. It may be writing. It may be writing music or singing or coming up with jokes,
Mhm.
sharing those jokes.
Mhm.
Um, Reading books. Like there's
Mhm.
it's called bibliotherapy,
Mhm.
where you find books that deal with whatever you are facing,
Mhm.
and you read, and you're seeing other people encounter it and see other people navigate it. But
Mhm.
it's therapy
Mhm.
for you. So you may not be able to afford um 4 hours a week with the therapist, but you can go
Mhm.
to the public library and find a book on grief, or find, and it could be fiction,
Mhm.
but you're reading and it's opening you up and you're seeing things from a different perspective,
Woo.
and it's helping you navigate what you're feeling. Because one of the dirtiest tricks that the enemy plays is to make you feel like you're in it by yourself
That's right.
or you're alone. And when you talked about being in the public,
Mhm.
he uses you, withdraws you so that you're in
Mhm.
isolation,
Mhm.
and you shut yourself off from everybody, and you
Mhm.
say those words that you don't mean. I'm okay,
Mhm.
and it's
Mhm.
not true. And
Mhm.
so you pull away and you internalize everything. So you have to find an outlet.
Yeah,
You
you
have to
do.
find a way
You
to get
do.
it out. And it could be a support group,
Mhm.
could be a trusted friend, it could be some type of art therapy.
Mhm.
I tried so many different things. I bought this adult coloring book. My daughter's
Mhm.
like, Mom, that's not the answer. And I thought I was doing good. So, oh, Mom. But it was a way, like I was
Mhm.
trying to express myself. I tried to garden, and
Mhm.
every plant that I planted is gone. They didn't survive. But I was open to trying things that I hadn't done before.
Oh
And
yes, 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 yes.
last week, I told several people this, that I sat on my porch and said, Lord, like you created all of this, help me to love it, because
Mm.
I don't like just being outside to be outside,
Mhm.
but I think there is some healing that can come
Mhm.
from
Mhm.
being outside, just sitting in the quiet, listening to the birds sing.
Mhm.
That's therapy.
Mhm.
So just finding a way to enjoy
Mhm.
the things that are around us, and understand that we're still here. We still have a life to live,
Mhm.
and we should go through it with joy.
That's right. That's right.
So finding a way to have joy in
In
this
this,
life.
yeah, in this process,
Absolutely.
having in this process, you still have joy. Like, I mean, it sounds so hard. Like it sounds like it's impossible, but it's not. It's very possible to be hurt and happy.
Absolutely.
It's very possible to be damaged and useful. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, I mean, hey,
Mhm.
nobody really has it all together.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And we're steady trying. And like I tell my mom all the time, I said I get up every day and I make a choice
Hmm.
to be happy. I make
Hmm.
a choice that I'm gonna laugh, I'm gonna smile, because I know what it's like not to.
Hmm.
And I know what it felt like when I was sad all the time and how it affected my body. And I also I said this to myself, you know, with the separation. Everybody has a choice.
Hmm.
God gave us all choices. And if someone chooses to leave or someone chooses to stay, it's their choice. There's absolutely nothing that I can do about it. You know what I'm saying? So either I'm going to make the choice to stay in that
Hmm.
situation, or I'm going to make the choice to make the best of the situation and to rise from it.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like reprogramming your mind
Hmm.
or your brain.
Absolutely.
Uh,
As you were talking about the both, and I wrote a blog post several years ago, and I was reminded of a trip to Carowinds when I was a little girl. And
Mhm.
there's a place in Carowinds where you can have one foot in North Carolina and one foot in South Carolina.
Mm.
So I always thought that was fascinating, that
Mhm.
because where Carowinds sits,
Mhm.
it's part of
Both.
it's both states.
Wow, I didn't know
So
that.
like that was so intriguing for me as a
Mhm.
child. Like I'm navigating this. I'm in South Carolina. My right side of the body's in South Carolina. My left side is in North Carolina. I may have got it twisted.
Mhm.
And I saw something that said it's possible to have grief and gratitude at the same
Mhm.
time.
Mhm.
And you're grateful for the love you share with that person. You're
Mhm.
grateful for the experiences, but you're in the middle of navigating life without them,
Mhm.
whether it is the physical loss of a person
Mhm.
or loss that is not a result of death,
Mhm.
where you may be experiencing loss of a job or
Mhm.
divorce or separation or disenfranchised grief,
Mhm.
where you it's non-death loss.
Mhm.
Um, you may be a caregiver who was taking care of somebody as part of your job,
Mhm.
and you became attached to that person, and that
Mhm.
person passed away,
Mhm.
but you still feel the grief of it,
Mhm.
even though this is part of
Life.
your journey. So it's that
Mhm.
both and you have to be able to be honest to
Mhm.
say, yes, this hurts,
Mhm.
but I'm grateful that I had this experience.
Experience, yeah.
So it's possible
Right.
to navigate those two
Mhm.
places at the
At the
same
same time,
time.
it's very possible. It's very possible to and I think that's very important when we acknowledge that, you know what I'm saying, I'm hurt but I'm okay
Yes.
at this particular time. You know what I'm saying? Like I miss them but I'm a live. You know what I'm saying? Like I cherish that what we had, but it's time for new memories. You know what I'm saying? It's time for new things. It's time, that I take a part of that journey and be grateful for it but move on.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And so that was something that I had to tell myself.
Mm.
I had to tell myself that it's okay. It's okay to lay it down, and it's okay to move on. It's okay that people choose, and what they choose is okay. But I also wanted to hint on the book thing. Now listen, you got to be ready to do some work when you start reading those books.
Oh yeah.
Because it's two books that I'm still trying to get through. When you're reading that, you got to, it's like it's showing you who you are too, as well. And you have to be ready to do a work as you're reading.
That's true.
As you're reading
But
that stuff.
you do, but you also, if you want to treat it like medicine,
Mm-hmm.
you wouldn't sit down and take a whole bottle
That's
of
right. Mm-hmm.
whatever
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because of you couldn't handle it.
Right.
So give yourself grace.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if you're reading a book and it's doing a lot and you're
Mm-hmm.
feeling all the things,
Mm-hmm.
maybe I just need to do a chapter. Maybe I
Right.
just need to do a page.
Right.
Especially if you know this is prescriptive for you,
Uh-huh.
if it's going to help you. But
Right.
you don't have to feel bad if
Right.
you can't
Finish
finish.
it. Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. It's been about a year and I'm still trying to
Okay.
pick it back up. Because
Okay.
I mean, it is when you're in grief, you get a chance to see who you are. So and like you had said earlier, when you're going through grief, it kind of brings out other things that you didn't realize was there. Like it just brings things out of you. And so you have to go through that process in order to get all the way through it. I mean, hey,
Absolutely.
we live and we learn.
Mm-hmm.
And we're grateful that we are here. Like I said, that we are in our right mind. I'm so very grateful for the support group. Looking forward to celebrating your 1 year anniversary. Are you excited about that?
I am. I don't think I had thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, okay, we're meeting next month, and it'll be a year. I will be doing something in November
Mm-hmm.
around the holidays to kind of highlight this 1 year journey. But yeah, I am grateful. I am grateful. and I'm grateful because of what he brought out of the hardest and darkest season of my life. How he's still blessed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm grateful for that.
Yeah. So yeah, y'all tell us about it one more time.
Sure.
And then we're gonna pin the information at the bottom of this show, so that Miss Bryant is going to put all of her information at the bottom. So if you want to join the support group, or if you have any questions, I'm sure you're okay with answering questions and stuff.
Absolutely. And you can find us online at irispbryant.com/grief support. If you visit their website, you will get a pop-up for a free 5-day grief reflection journal. And that's just something you can use to kind of write through some things, just 5 days. And then on the bottom of that page is information about Grieving Well. We will be meeting next month, and we meet monthly at Gateway Deliverance Ministries, 1776 Rowan Road, here in the beautiful city of Clinton, North Carolina. Co-facilitator is Bishop Eddie Parker, and we invite you to come join us. And on that website, there are other resources that I pray will be a blessing to you. And you can reach out to me if you have questions at irispbryant.com.
Yes. And we just want to say thank you so very much for joining us here at Cutting Through the Red Tape. It has absolutely been a pleasure. And I'm praying that something that we talked about today will kind of help you along on your journey. Listen, don't stay stuck where you are. I promise you, there's joy on the other side. I promise you that there's love, there's light on the other side. I promise you that that you do have a village. I'm not going to say there are people, but you have a village. You just got to come on outside. Come on outside and join us for one of those sessions, or you can contact her or contact me privately, and I'll do the best that I can. I know she will do what she can to assist you on your journey as well. But thank you.
Thank you for having me. This has been a pleasure.
Absolutely. Look, thank you for joining Cutting Through the Red Tape. We are out. Peace.